Alfred Pennyworth is verifiably awesome. Over the years, Batman's most faithful ally and most trusted confidant has always been Alfred, and without his support, Batman's crime-fighting career would have never been possible. Unfortunately, however, as a character, Alfred isn't often given the proper time to shine like other members of the Bat family, but when he is given room to play, he kills it every single time, sometimes literally. And when it comes to the universe of the Batman, Alfred is more important now than ever, as Alfred appears to be the one that trained Bruce Wayne. So today, let's talk all about the past of Alfred Pennyworth, his skills, his origins, some of his best moments from the comics, and prove that without a doubt, Batman would not be who he is today without the Butler. Before his life as a butler under the Wayne family, Alfred had a rebellious streak, one that eventually resulted in him enlisting in the British Armed Forces, eventually becoming a soldier, and in some depictions, he has been described as a combat medic. When Alfred was discharged, he began a successful career as an actor within the Globe Theatre in London, and he even had a daughter before coming over to America full-time. His father, however, Jarvis Pennyworth, was the original butler for the Wayne estate, and when Jarvis died under mysterious circumstances, Alfred made his way to Gotham and into the good graces of the Wayne family. It was then discovered that Jarvis had attempted to send Alfred a letter dissuading him from taking up his post, but was unable to deliver the letter. And because of this, when Alfred was offered the opportunity to step into his father's shoes, he did so honorably. At this point, Bruce was only 4 years old, which meant that Alfred had only been the family butler for about 4 years before Thomas and Martha were murdered in Crime Alley. And from that point on, he had one singular purpose: to look after the young Bruce Wayne. Nobody would have blamed Alfred for walking away and returning to his life as he knew it, but his strong sense of duty planted him firmly in the young boy's life, even though it was not an easy undertaking. Bruce's determination to track down his parents' killer and figure out what really happened made him a nightmare for Alfred to raise. And at one point in the Court of Owls story, titled Face of the Court, it was revealed that Bruce got himself locked in an abandoned building for days in search of answers. Alfred had to track him down before the young boy died of dehydration, and eventually, he was able to get Bruce nursed back to health. When Bruce was 18, he disappeared though, traveling the world in search of different skills and tools that he could use to better himself. And even though Wayne Manor was all but abandoned, Alfred could have fully returned to London yet again, and he chose to remain in the home as the guardian of the estate. For 7 years, Alfred looked after the Wayne legacy while Bruce was nowhere to be found. And when Bruce returned, he told Alfred his plan to become a vigilante. Although Alfred was hesitant, he had seen the toll that the Wayne family murder had taken on Bruce, and over the years he had grown accustomed to Bruce's determination and stubbornness. He knew that he could not stop Bruce from becoming the Batman, so either he would do it with or without Alfred. Alfred had already agreed that with his help, Bruce would at least be marginally safer. Over the years as Batman, Alfred has been brought into the conflict several times, including the Batman Eternal arc where Alfred was infected with the Scarecrow's fear toxin, administered by the villain Hush to him. Once Alfred was sufficiently incapacitated, Hush utilized his identity as Dr. Thomas Elliot to have Alfred committed to Arkham Asylum, putting him right next to some of Batman's greatest villains. Alfred, however, was unfazed by the predicament and quickly got to work orchestrating an escape plan. Knowing what he knew about Batman's rogues, he was able to play his cards correctly and make the right allies at the time. He and Bane came to an understanding and agreed to work together. Much like Alfred, Bane doesn't necessarily belong in Arkham. Arkham is designed for the mentally unwell, and Bruce usually takes the roster of foes that have severe mental issues to Arkham, while the likes of the Penguin, Bane, and other enemies typically end up in Blackgate. So Alfred knew that Bane was his best bet. As well, he's not insane. In order to earn Bane's respect though, he stabbed a rogue vampire through the throat, and Bane commended the Butler for his form and tenacity. Together they figured out how to escape. Alfred would lead Bane to a discreet outpost that Batman had set up as a safe house should he ever need assistance away from the Batcave. In order to hide his affiliation with Batman, however, Alfred outsmarted and betrayed Bane, using the safe house's security measures to knock out and subsequently stop him. Contrary to popular belief, Bane is not just a meathead henchman, and he's not to be used for brute strength. Bane is an incredibly adept wartime tactician and is one of the most brilliant members of Batman's rogues gallery. Bruce is more than capable of handling foes that are just stronger than him. We see this time and time again with the likes of Solomon Grundy, Killer Croc, and others. That's not what makes Bane such a formidable enemy. Not only can he physically outcast Batman in terms of strength, but he's just as tactically intelligent in a way that gives Bruce a run for his money. All is that is to say that outsmarting Bane is an incredible feat of ingenuity and creativity, and should be held in much higher esteem than outsmarting someone like Joker or even Two-Face. Not only is Alfred incredibly intelligent, but despite being more than a decade older than Bruce, he's still physically capable of standing up to some of his enemies. Alfred was once fast enough to disarm Hush, who thought that Alfred would be an easy and a compliant hostage, and he even took up the mantle of Batman for a night. During, of course, the Batman Rebirth, while Batman was indisposed and needed a distraction, and he did a commendable job that night. Again guys, Alfred dressed up as Batman. Although he could not be as physically active for the same amount of time, Alfred held his own against muggers and street thugs for the night. And this is not the only time Alfred was seen in combat when protecting the Wayne family. But here's something important. Unlike Bruce, Alfred does not subscribe to the no-kill rule, and he has routinely used lethal force when he's backed into a corner. He shot the Batman Who Laughs at point-blank range, and in Booster Gold 12, while loading a shotgun, he delivered the iconic quote, "Perhaps you relied on my master's vow against lethal force. Rest assured, I do not subscribe to such niceties." Alfred is unafraid to end anyone who threatens the Wayne family, and when he is left behind at the Batcave as the last line of defense, Batman's villains woefully underestimate him. In issue number 18 of The Outsiders, Alfred marches up to Deathstroke, the world's deadliest assassin, and punches him directly in the face. He has seen enough to know that even the world's greatest assassin needs to be set straight sometimes. But this is not his magnum opus. In a truly unprecedented feat, Alfred Pennyworth was able to kick the kryptonite out of Superman. This occurs in the Injustice storyline, where Bruce is putting together a resistance movement against Superman's burgeoning fascist regime. As Superman amasses more and more power, Batman has to come up with a toolbox of his own to use against the Man of Steel. In the Fortress of Solitude, there is a pill which can grant anyone who takes it the abilities of a Kryptonian, and so Batman orchestrates the extraction mission to retrieve this pill. Batman's idea is that if he can figure out how this works, he may be able to level the playing field by giving the rebellion the same powers as Superman. But Superman is not keen on this. He comes back to the Batcave in order to sabotage Bruce's efforts. But what he did not plan on was Alfred taking the pill and temporarily being empowered with the powers of a Kryptonian. What follows showcases one of Superman's greatest weaknesses, which is his inability to train adequately. Superman is obscenely powerful because his natural strength and abilities are enough to overpower anyone who would want to challenge him. But he has little to no formal martial arts training. In order to train properly, he would need to trade blows with someone as strong as him, which obviously is nearly impossible to come by. Alfred Pennyworth, however, a former soldier, an older individual, knows what it's like, and the pill leveled the playing field momentarily. He broke Superman's nose and carried a battered Batman out of the Batcave, proclaiming that there was nothing left worth saving, which goes to show that without Alfred, Batman's entire life would crumble. He is Bruce Wayne's mentor, confidant, moral support through all of the darkest times. Alfred truly is the patriarch and caretaker of the Bat family, and is one of its most dangerous members as well. Bruce, Dick Grayson, Tim, they will always try to avoid lethal force, and even though Jason and Damian aren't concerned with such rules, they are predictably lethal. But Alfred, on the outside, he's mild-mannered, but on the inside, he's sharp, and his tool is his wit. But if it comes down to it, when Alfred is in the trenches, he will do what Batman will not. But anyway, friends, what do you think of Alfred as a character? How do you feel about the fact that in Matt Reeves' universe, it appears as if that Alfred is the one that has trained Bruce, and that much of Bruce's combat training may have stemmed from Alfred's time in the military? If you enjoyed our video, a like would help immensely. And of course, if you'd like to see more, subscribe. But as always, I hope you're having a great day.